New name, same attitude, still a ton of plushes in the background. Let's review Operation Undead.
ยามศึกสงครามเลยดังเล่เลยผมไปก่อนเหลือเล็กมีอาการที่ผมไปหาเข้ามากันดิแก
It's a rarity that a movie surprises me, especially when I read the title. With a title like Operation Undead and a poster like you saw in the thumbnail, you would expect this to be another dime a dozen generic slopfest, akin to the movies that come out of Japan or the myriad of crap zombie comedy fests that come out of North America. However, that's not what happens here. This is honestly a treat. This is not a zombie film set in World War II. Instead, this is a World War II film around zombies, which is a rarity, honestly. It might surprise you guys, but I researched a little bit. There's not many zombie films set in World War II. You'd think Overlord, but Overlord's more about superhuman soldiers that essentially get messed up a lot. In reality, there's maybe like a handful of zombie films set in World War II. There's a lot of Nazi zombie movies, but those zombies are actually more in the modern day. But in reality, not many Nazi zombie movies. In fact, rarely do zombies appear in World War II, like I said. But even more rare is the zombie in World War II in Japan genre. From Japan, I should actually say. This is actually a Thai horror film. Right. This is actually in Thailand, which is even rarer. Thailand does not produce a lot of zombie films, I found out. I think the last zombie film I saw from Thailand was SARS Wars. And that was a nightmare of a film to watch. Not a bad nightmare. It was more like a fever dream, if I guess I should say. I guess I should say this right off the bat. This is not a comedy film. This is not a comedy in any way, shape, or form. This is honestly a horror film that is taking itself seriously. And that should honestly set the tone for this review. This is not a comedy. You may think that makes it, like, if it's taking itself seriously. If I'm saying it's taking itself seriously, that should be like, oh, that must make it funny. No. This film, honestly, it honestly scared me a bit. It actually scared me a lot. But the tone it takes is honestly more akin to a war drama than anything. This is actually a very serious film. I don't mean like serious like a joke. Like some people say, oh, this is taking itself too seriously. No. This is actually a very serious, terrifying story of war. And some of the more horrifying shit the Japanese have done in World War II. And if you've watched a lot of those World War II nightmare films about the Japanese, like Children of the Sun or stuff like that, you know some of the sick things they've done. And if you haven't, go watch Children of the Sun. You'll see some of the things they've done. Good Lord. Anyway, I'm going to get the basics out of the way. I took a lot of notes for this film, which I didn't really have to do, because I don't want to spoil a lot of the film, because I thought the film was done around the 75, 80-minute mark. This is a 2-hour film, by the way. But that's only where the film picks up. That's right. This film's not even done at the 75 to 80-minute mark. It's only picking up at the 75 to 80-minute mark. Essentially, you don't need to know a lot about the war to understand this film. Here's the basics. As follows. There are two characters you have to follow. Mek and Mak. Mek is a soldier in the army in Thailand. He has a fiancée who just announced to him that she's pregnant. He decides to propose to her right then and there. He has a brother called Mak. Mak is sort of a lazy person and doesn't want to fight in the upcoming war. But he decides to after finding out that his brother's fiancée is pregnant. Ultimately, he ends up fighting on the beach when the Japanese start invading. They bring a box onto the shore, which contains a super soldier that they ended up experimenting on originally. This creature gets loose, and it ends up infecting multiple people. Now, this is interesting enough, because a lot of the soldiers get infected. They end up wiping out more soldiers. Now, this is where I actually have to stop, because the movie takes different turns after this. This is not a normal zombie film. In fact, this is actually different from a lot of zombie films I've watched. This is where the hard part about not wanting to spoil what this movie is about. It's about family. It's about the drama of war. There's a lot of horrifying moments in this film that have nothing to do with gore or zombies or the genre of horror itself. It's more about the horrors of war. This is a horrifying thing to talk about in many ways. I know I'm saying that a lot, but okay. The worst part about trying to describe this film is the fact that I think it's been marketed the wrong way. And I know it's going to be weird to say. How do you market a zombie film the wrong way? That's the problem. I don't think this should have been marketed the way it's been marketed. This is not the normal zombie film. This is more of a film about war than it is about the zombies. This is about the nightmares that the Imperial Army of Japan did during World War II. This is about two brothers who have different conflicts about how they should react in this war. This is about more than country. This is about family and how war can change you. This is about the youth being sacrificed for anything but the future. This is about a lot of things. There's so many parallels to today that are just horrifying. And it's worse and worse because I want to talk about everything I've seen in this fucking film, but I can't because I don't want to spoil it. The worst films I've watched, I have no problem spoiling. I have no problems telling you what happens. But the good films I watch, the ones I want you to see, the ones I want you to actually sit through and experience, I have problems spoiling because there's so much to talk about. The 1 minute plus trailer for this movie doesn't spoil the film. I will say that right now. I will edit like 1 or 2 moments into the beginning and 1 or 2 moments at the end probably. But I will say it right now. Nothing in that trailer spoils how good this movie is. If anything, it makes you wonder what the marketing was thinking when they edited the trailer like this. It's edited in a way that makes it look like an action film in many ways. But it's not. It is a drama. This is a horror drama. It is a nightmare of a film about people who are forced to deal with nightmares. For people, the youth, who have to deal with the fact they can never see their families again because they are now monsters. This is a nightmare of a film about people who have become monsters, who have to deal with the fact they are monsters, who have to deal with the simple fact that they will never be able to be normal again. This is not a normal zombie film. This is like if Bub from Day of the Dead had to deal with the fact he was not human anymore. We dealt with Bub having emotion. We dealt with Bub realizing someone he cared about was dead. We did not deal with Bub realizing he was not human anymore. And this is what that movie does. We've reached the final pinnacle of the zombie movie with this one. We've dealt with Bub dealing with the fact he's no longer human. And that's what this one is. This might actually be my favorite zombie movie of all time. And I really do think everyone should watch it. Operation Undead is my favorite movie. And maybe even more than Train to Busan. Maybe more than Day of the Dead. Maybe as much as Dawn of the Dead. Operation Undead needs to be watched. And I hope everyone does watch it. I guess that's the end of the review. I know you guys usually expect me to be more comedic in these videos, more funny or anything, but this movie was draining. But I promise more comedy reviews in the future. We got some Popeye movies coming. We got probably got a few more of those Mickey Mouse horror films. I know that I've been promising the Cockneys vs. Zombies review for a long time now. Anyway, if you like this movie, please like and subscribe. If you didn't like this review, please leave a dislike and tell me what you didn't like. We stream now Sundays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m., usually a little earlier, on twitch.tv/Kapoyo Gaming. We've rebranded. It's me and Andre, my friend. Give us a like. Subscribe if you want to. I know I said that already, but it's going to get better, folks. If you can find light at the end of the tunnel, no matter, even if you're the living dead, and so can we. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.